You got to turn it on.
Good Shabbos, everyone.
Go ahead.
Good Shabbos, everyone. Let me hear you. Good Shabbos. It is so great to see everyone. We did this a few weeks ago on Erev Simchat Torah. And one of our friends, Lori Herzog, said, you know what, why don't we try this on a Friday night? And it turned out tonight we don't have a bar mitzvah. And he said, that's a great idea, but unfortunately, it's probably going to rain. It's probably going to be either too hot or too cold. Well, God's finally blessed us in 2020. Could the weather be more perfect? This is terrific. And I know that Cantor feels the same way, and Rabbi Morgan feels the same way. It is so nice to see all of you. I think we have more people tonight than we did on Simchat Torah, and this is the largest group of people we have had since March. Let me tell you, it just fills me with so much pride and joy to see all of you. It reminds me why I love this congregation so much. So thank you for being here. It is great to see all of you. And tonight we're going to pray, we're going to sing, we're going to enjoy being together, we're going to enjoy Shabbat. And so I'm going to turn it over now to our wonderful cantor and the Shabbat Renewal Band as they lead us in an opening nigun. And we turn to page 5. Shalom Alechem, Malchei Hasharet.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bachem Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seichem Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Let us go and sing to Adonai. Let us trumpet praise to our protector. L'chu neradana l'Adonai, the top of page 11.
L'chu neradana, l'chu neradana, l'chu neradana l'Adonai. L'chu neradana, l'chu neradana, l'chu neradana l'Adonai. Nariyo, nariyo, l'tzur sheinu, lekadmat fanav betorah. Nariya, nariya, l'tzur sheinu, b'tmirot nariyalo. L'chu neradana, l'chu neradana, l'chu neradana.
14, Yismechu Hashamayim, B'Tagel Haaretz.
ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים ותגר הארץ. ישמחו השמיים, השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, השמיים, ישמחו השמיים ותגר הארץ. השמיים ותגר הארץ. עיר המים, עיר המים, עיר המים ומלואו. עיר המים, עיר המים, עיר המים ומלואו.
And now we welcome the Sabbath bride with the singing of Lachadodi. And obviously we don't have a doorway. Usually before the last stanza, we rise and we symbolically welcome the Sabbath queen. But tonight we'll stand and it's before the last stanza, towards the end of the prayer, and we'll face east, towards Yerushalayim, towards the Jewish capital, our home, as we welcome the Sabbath queen, the spirit of Shabbat. Lachadodi, the Krat Kala, page 23.
Kala, Tadei Shabbat, Nekabala, Lachadodi, Nikrat Kala, Tadei Shabbat, Nekabala. Shamon Echad Ben Yehud Echad, Yishmianu El HaMiuchad, Adonai Echad Lishmo Echad L'Shem U'Tiferet, Beritila, Beritila. שבת לכו ונלכה כי היא מקור הברכה מראש מכרם נסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לחדודי לקראת כלה בני שבת לקבלה לחדודי rise בני שבת לקבלה שלום מטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצורה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה לך אדוני לקראת כלה בני שבת לקבלה לך אדוני לקראת כלה בני שבת.
You may be seated. Tov la'adon la'Adonai, let us give thanks to God for this day, for this Shabbat, for the opportunity to come together. Top of page 27.
Oh
those in mourning and all those observing Yurtzeit, whether here at Beth Yeshurun this evening or from your homes, we rise for the mourner's Kaddish, page 30. Yitzgadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah, v'yalma divrach yiruteh v'yamlik malchuteh, v'chayekom v'yomekom v'chayeh dekol beit Yisrael, v'agalav izman kari v'yimru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach v'yolam omei amaya, Yitzbarach v'yishtabach v'yitzba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudusha brichu, le'ela min kol berkata v'shirata, tishbechata v'nechemata, damiram v'yama v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimru amen. May all our loved ones continue to rest in peace, and let us say, amen. We now all rise for the Baruch Hu, and this is one of the few times during our service. For this prayer, we again face east towards Yerushalayim, page 39.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai, who brings each evening's dusk, Amariv Aravim. And you may be seated now as the cantor and our band continue Ahavat Olam, page 40.
Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael, Ahavta Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limatta, al ken Adonai Eloheinu, b'shocheinu v'kuleinu, nasiach b'chokecha, Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael, Ahavta Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limatta, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed, ki hei mechayenu ve'olech yameinu, u'bahem negei yomam v'layla, ve'ahavatcha, ve'ahavadcha, al tasir mimenu le'olamim, baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Let me hear everyone join with me in the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Together. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha, ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha, ve'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam, ve'shivtecha bebetecha u'v'lechtecha b'derech u'v'shochbecha u'kumecha וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. Continue silently. Adonai Elohechem Emet. Join together in Mi Chamocha. Mi Chamocha Ba'elim Adonai, Mi Chamocha Ne'edar B'Kodesh Nora 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 Tehilot Osefem. Mi Chamocha Ba'elim Adonai, Mi Chamocha Ne'edar B'Kodesh Nora 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 Tehilot Osefem. Malchutcha ra'u banecha, Okei hayam lifnei Moshe. Zeini, Zeini, anu ve'ameru. Malchutcha ra'u banecha, Okei hayam lifnei Moshe. Zeini, Zeini, anu ve'ameru. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi kamocha ne'edar b'kodesh nora 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 tehilot osefem. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi kamocha ne'edar b'kodesh nora 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 tehilot osefem. Adonai Eloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai Eloch le'olam va'ed. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi chamocha ne'edar b'kodesh nora 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 tehilot We continue with Hashkivenu, page 45. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, ve'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, ve'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Ushmor tzeiteinu, uvoeinu, l'chaim u'shalom, me'ata ve'ad olam. Ve'ad olam hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, ve'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, ve'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Let me turn to the next page, 46, and join in V'shamru. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורות ולעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות ולעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל עוד היא לעולם, עוד היא לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם בריבונם וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש שבת ויהי נפש שבת ויהי נפש ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם בריבונם. We rise. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה וילמד יברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון ויונכון ובחייך לכל בית ישראל בעגלה בזמן קריב ואמרו אמן בעגלה בזמן קריב ואמרו אמן אמן יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם עולמי עלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהלל ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי לקודשה בריחו לעילם מכל הלכתה ושירתה ושבחתה ונחמתה תאמירם בעלמא ואמרו אמן ואמרו אמן ואמרו אמן amen.
This again is one of those times we face east towards Jerusalem for the silent Amidah, page 47 through page 51.
Turn to page 51 and join in Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav al Yisraelecha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisraelecha tasim leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon l'chol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon It's time in the service for you to put your arms around each other as families and join us as we sing Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom, Oseh Shalom b'maromav, Uya Oseh Shalom aleinu, Shalom aleinu, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imagru, Amen. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imagru, Amen. V'yaseh shalom aleinu, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Oseh shalom, oseh shalom b'maromav, v'yaseh shalom aleinu, shalom aleinu, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imagru, Amen. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imagru, Amen. Amen. Amen.
And now we continue our prayers for those in our families, those in our community who are ill at this time. We offer the words of Misha Berach, that they all have a speedy and full recovery.
Misheverach avotenu, v'kor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing for us and all of those we love. Misheverach imotenu, v'kor habracha avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
You may be seated now as we continue with the Kiddush Shalom, page 54.
יתקדש שם רבה, ואמרי לאחילותי ויאריך מלכותי וחייכון ומכל וחי לכל בית ישראל, והגלה מזמן קריב, ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתעלה ויתעלה ויתעלה, שמי לקודשה וריחו. לעילה מכל אחד המשירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. יתקבל צלותון וברכון לכל ישראל, קודם עוון בשמיה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלום הרבה מן שמיה, וחיים עליהם על כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו amen.
So good Shabbos again, everyone. So could you imagine one day if you heard a voice that told you, give up your job, give up the beautiful home that you've worked so hard to have, leave Houston, leave Texas, and go to Oklahoma. You'd be like, what? And you were convinced it was God, and God was talking to you and said, you may like your home, you may have grown up here in Houston, but it's time to leave to a land that I will show you. You probably think, God, I love you, but I'm not leaving Houston. But Abraham, known as Avram at the time, when God speaks to him and God says to him, leave your home, leave where your ancestors came from, leave everything you've ever known, trust me, and go to a land that I will show you. And if you go to this land, I'll make a great nation out of you. I'll make your name great. And you shall be a blessing. Aram doesn't tell that voice, doesn't tell God, God, I love you, but I just can't do it. I can't leave everything I've ever known. And he does what God says. And he leaves to a land that God will show him. Because you shall be a blessing. Now the rabbis ask again and again, what does that mean, you shall be a blessing? Some rabbis say that what it means, it's a command. That not only Abraham and Sarah, but all those who've gone after them, all of us as Jews, it's a command that we have to be a blessing. We have to live a good life, live by good values, good morals and ethics, set an example for other people. It's a command to be a blessing. But some of the rabbis say, no, it's not a command, it's a promise. That your descendants, shall be a blessing. And I like to think that we as a Jewish people, since that time of Abraham and Sarah, have been a blessing to the world. Think of all the values, all the ideas, all the traditions and customs, from the Ten Commandments to the Bible, to all the medical ethics and morals, the business ethics. The Western judicial system is based on our system of law. I like to think we've been a blessing. From Moses to Maimonides, from Einstein to Spielberg, from Kovacs to Bregman. Well, maybe not Bregman, not this year in this year's playoffs. But you know what I mean. B'yeh bracha. I like to think as a people, we've been a blessing. But there's one more part of being a blessing that I want to share with you. When my children were young, some of the best advice I ever got was from an older member in our congregation. And he said to me, he said, Brian, the best thing you could tell your kids now when they're young, and really all the way up until they're adults, is to remind them that they are a blessing. To remind them, Brian, that there's a reason God put them in this world. That only them, that there's something special and unique about them, that God needed their specific talents, their specific traits, their specific character, and only they, in their own unique and beautiful way, can be a blessing to this world. I've tried to remind my children of that year after year since that time. I'd like to remind myself of that as well. That in the Jewish tradition, we're reminded again and again that each and every one of us is a blessing. And the challenge of life is figuring out what that blessing is. And whether we're young or old, a man or a woman, no matter who we are, let us find what our blessing is. And let us live out that blessing like Abraham and Sarah did. And so many Jews have done over the centuries. B'yeh bracha. And you shall be a blessing. And now one of my favorite songs, Debbie Friedman's Lechila.
To a land that I will show you. Lech lecha, to a place you you do not know. L'chilach, on your journey I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. L'chilach. Shall be a blessing,
Let us all do our parts to be a blessing to this world. And now let us rise for the Aleinu, page 54. And this is one of those times in the service we face east towards Jerusalem. Page 56, Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויסד הארץ, ומשה יקרו השמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו, בגופי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אחד, אמת מלכנו וזולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבת אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, והארץ מתחת אל-עוד. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
And you may be seated. This week at Beth Yeshurun, we offer condolences to the families of Sylvia Schiffman Goldman, Eleanor Lonshine, Freda Katz, Cecily Sherbel, Richard Rosenberg, Jeff David Herman, Sanford Rudolph, and Jacob Shalev. The words of the Mourner's Kaddish again, page 58. Yitgadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah, v'yalmad divrach yurteh v'yamlik machuteh, v'chayekon v'yomekon v'chayeh dekol beit Yisrael, v'hagalav v'zman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mivorach li'olam omei amaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudusha b'richu, le'ela mikol berkata v'shirata, Tishbechata v'nechamata damiram v'yama v'yimru amen. Yehi shlam barabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Osei shalom b'mramav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimru amen. You may be seated. We have 2 anniversaries to celebrate this evening from 2 beautiful couples that are watching us online. celebrating 64 years of marriage, Gladys and Howard Kaplan. Let's give them a big round of applause. Gladys and Howard, on February 14th, Gladys asked Howard to take her to the ER after attending Grandparents' Day at Emory Weiner. Thankfully, she was stented and is doing fine. But in August, Gladys tested positive for COVID-19, and thank God Howard was negative. And with the exception of a runny nose and experiencing fatigue, Gladys was asymptomatic, thank God. And thankfully, she recovered quickly, and Howard never got it. Being together 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 6 months hasn't always been easy. But the good thing is that the two of you haven't killed each other. And you've kept your sense of humor, and you're still happily married after 64 years. May God continue to bless you, Gladys and Howard. Happy anniversary. And celebrating their silver anniversary, their 25th anniversary, Sarah and Mike Deitz. Let's give them a round of applause. Sarah and Mike were married here at Beth Yeshurun by Rabbi Ernesto Yatta 25 years ago. We asked them what's the secret to long-term success in a marriage, and they said honesty, enjoyment of each other and their lives, and commitment to the special gift God has given each of you. Happy 25 years of marriage. We look forward to seeing you soon, and may God continue to bless you with only health, happiness, and peace. For both of you, both our couples, let us say Amen. A few announcements I wanted to share with you this evening. Beginning again tomorrow morning and next Shabbat, we don't have a B'nai Mitzvah, so we're welcoming up to 40 of our members to synagogue Friday night and Saturday morning. We'd love to see you. Just register on our website. Last week, we told you about this year's Count Me In initiative. And like so many organizations, Count Me In is taking their program virtual this year. So many synagogues and Jewish organizations here in Houston are supporting this great cause, and we encourage you to as well. Go to our social media or our website to participate in the very worthy Count Me In project as we get ready for Hanukkah just a few months away. Speaking of upcoming holidays, we have a great Thanksgiving to Go program based on the success of our Passover to Go meal program. We'll be offering Thanksgiving to Go meals to our members and non-members. It's a great meal, very good price, a kosher Thanksgiving turkey meal, complete with all the sides. Look for registration on our website or on our social media. Family Friday is back at 5 p.m. Each week we'll be offering something different for our younger families at the 5 o'clock time slot. And we'll kick off the month with Tat Shabbat with our friend Jomel Berenbaum. We also will be continuing our Shabbat Table Talk series next Friday night. Once a month, we welcome an influential guest here in the community. I'm looking forward to welcoming next week Mark Tobin, the Regional Director of ADL Southwest. In December, we'll be welcoming Councilwoman Abby Kamen, and in January, we'll be welcoming my friend Mattress Mac here to Beth Yeshurun to sit down and have a discussion, to talk to them, to learn from them, and see what we as Jews can do to learn from these influential guests that will join us here at Beth Yeshurun once a month. And next Saturday morning, the cantor and I are unveiling a new Shabbat morning service called Shabbat Refreshed. We'll be welcoming our wonderful Shabbat Renewal band to our Saturday morning service. And so whether you're with us in person or watching online, join us. I think you'll love the tunes, you'll love the upbeat melodies, and the opportunity to feel refreshed, to feel wonderful about our Shabbat morning services. So a lot of new twists, a few surprises. Join us next Saturday morning for services for our first ever Shabbat Refreshed service. We have a lot of great things happening, classes, programs, led by Rabbi Ford or Rabbi Morgan. So go to our website for all the information that you may need for everything that we're doing here at Beth Yeshurun, virtually right now, and of course in person for our services. Finally, I want to give a big thank you. I hope you'll join me in thanking, we are so blessed at Beth Yeshurun to have such an extraordinary staff that makes a service like this possible, who had set all this up, got the word out to the community. Let's give our Beth Yeshurun staff a big round of applause. Thank you for all that you do, for all of us, especially now, to allow us to maintain a vibrant congregation despite the challenges. We're still reaching out people in the community. We're still touching people Jewishly. We're still growing as Jews. We're still enjoying being part of the Jewish community. And so now I'm going to bless all of our children that are with us. let's place, I know we have a number of children here tonight, so let's place our hands on their heads of our sons first. And we say, Yisimcha Elohim Ke'Ephraim Be'Ke'Menashe. May God bless our sons like Ephraim and Menashe and all the good boys of the Jewish tradition. And for our girls, we say, Yisimech Elohim Kesara Rivka Rachel Leah. May God bless Sarah, Becca, Rachel, and Leah. May God bless our daughters like Sarah, Becca, Rachel, and Leah, and all the wonderful daughters of the Jewish tradition. And for all of our children, we say, Yivarecha Adonai v'yishmarecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yinecha, Yisad Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God bless all of our children with peace, always. We give them a kiss and hug, and we say, Amen. And now the cantor will lead us in the Kiddush and a beautiful medley. So while we're doing the Kiddush, you all got a QR code in your bags, so you can take your phones out, scan that QR code, and there you'll see a medley of some upbeat and Shabbat melodies, other melodies that we'll sing after the Kiddush tonight to end our first ever Friday night outdoor service, which we will definitely do again. I imagine several times over the next several months as we get through this pandemic together as a community. Let us now rise for the Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'b'ratzon inchilanu zikaron le'maseh bereshit ki hu yom tefila le'mikra'ei kodesh זכר ליציאת מצרים, כי באנו לחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון, הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. If you all have the lyrics on your phones, you can join in with me and the band. And we start with Oseh Shalom. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Oseh Shalom Yivroam. Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael Ve'ilu. Imru Amen. Oseh Shalom Yivroam. Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.